Hey, so welcome to my panel, everybody. Yeah. Are you guys excited for this? Because I'm excited for this. We're gonna have a lot of fun here. I'll make sure this is showing up. Uh-oh, how do I make this show up? Help, oh, there we go, got it, awesome. Well, if you don't know, my name is Pixel Dan Eardley, and I like toys. Thank you guys very much for coming. I always love getting to do this every year at PowerCon, and we should have a lot of fun here tonight. We're gonna do a couple things. I've kind of been teasing already that I've got something fun to announce tonight, and I really can't wait to get to that, but I'm gonna save that for the end. So that way you guys all have to stay here for the entire panel and watch me if you want to know what I'm gonna announce. That sound fair? Does that sound fair? All right, did you guys have a good day at the show today? Yeah? PowerCon's pretty great still? What do you guys think of the new place? Yeah? Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. You guys don't mind if I drink, do you? It's an after hours panel. This is Pixel Dan After Dark, okay? That's right, that's right. PowerCon Confessions featuring Pixel Dan. Oh boy. So we're gonna do a few different things here tonight. One of the things I thought would be really fun to start with is sort of like a live version of what I do on my YouTube channel with a little show that I call Toysplosion. Have you guys heard of that? Well, that makes me feel good. Thank you guys very much. If you're not familiar with it, this is sort of like my toy history series where I kind of take a little, like a more serious look at like a piece of toy history, talk about various toy lines, and I kind of do a little bit of research behind it. And I've got one that I'm working on right now that a lot of people have asked me to do, and I've wanted to do it for a long time, and it's He-Man related, so I thought, why not go ahead and do it here in front of you guys tonight? You guys kind of get to see like the rough edit here, because it's not even a video. I'm just gonna kind of spew facts at you guys. And I mean, you all are the people that come to PowerCon, so you probably know all this, and I'm just gonna bore you to tears. Because you're gonna be like, yeah, we know, Dan, shut up. But maybe the general public outside of the He-Man fandom doesn't know about all this stuff, and that's always kind of my aim for this sort of thing, is to kind of just help educate people about toys, because I find the history behind this stuff totally fascinating, especially when I start really digging in and doing research behind how a lot of our favorite toy lines happened in the first place. It's really interesting to me. So I thought I would focus on the Powers of Grayskull toy line. Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys. This is something that I have been just totally enthralled with ever since I first got online and found out that this was even a thing. Because if you guys don't know, oh wait, I forgot, that was my intro. I passed it, it's okay. If you guys don't know, back in 1987, when the Masters of the Universe toy line was kind of winding down, there were a lot of different things going on in an attempt to kind of extend the life of the brand. One of those things, of course, was the motion picture, which came out that year. But one of the other things that they were working on was a spin-off toy line of sorts that was going to be called the Powers of Grayskull. And it was going to focus on a new set of characters, with our new primary hero being Hero, aptly named, the guy in the shiny gold armor, and his mentor, Eldor. And when I first got online, way back when the internet was brand new, and I decided to look up that thing I liked from when I was a kid, He-Man, and I stumbled upon places like He-Man.org, I found these pictures at some point, and it blew my mind. Because I was like, what is this? I need this. I want this in my collection. And it's kind of been one of those things where these images, once they were kind of discovered and they were put online, they've almost been like these mythical kind of, action figures. It's like the things that, like there's pictures of these physical prototypes, but they were never released. So it's like the figures we could never actually own. And it was like a grail kind of thing, you know what I mean? So these appeared in the 1987 Toy Fair catalog that year. This was way back at Toy Fair before people like me used to go there with my fancy cameras and report on things happening live at the show. When these toy companies would actually have printed catalogs to hand out to retailers and everything that came to their booths showing what they were planning on releasing in the year. And that's where these pictures came from. So these are actual hand-painted prototypes for toys that never got released. And of course, eventually these wound up on the internet and we all found out that this was a thing that Mattel was gonna do. Totally blew my mind at the time. Of course, we've been able to discover new things over the years, thanks to a lot of this printed stuff kind of making its way to the internet. What you're looking at here is part of the series Bible that was written to kind of promote. This was like an internal thing at Mattel, so this wasn't really released publicly back then. But this kind of gave us some information. It's got style guide pictures, gave us some information on who these characters were gonna be. This is where we first kind of learned some of the other details about the character, such as that his alter ego, much like He-Man had Prince Adam, Hero's name was Gray. So his name was Gray, and then he was going to become Hero. Hero is the most powerful wizard in the universe, as opposed to He-Man being the most powerful man in the universe. The character is set in what they're calling Preternia, which is ancient times. So he's like the ancestor of He-Man and She-Ra. So he's kind of one of the originators of the power of Grayskull. So that's kind of where we learned about a lot of that stuff here in this style guide. So it's really great that we have access to all this information now and we can look this stuff up. The same style guide introduced some of the other types of beasts that were going to come out during this Powers of Grayskull lineup, which included the dinosaurs. We've got Bionatops, we've got Tyrannosaurus Rex, and we've got Turbodactyl. Now, some of you guys might realize these actually did come out. These were part of the Masters of the Universe toy line right there at the end. They are part of the very few figures who actually made it into production before Mattel decided not to move forward with the Powers of Grayskull line. So we actually did get some pieces of this line under the regular Masters of the Universe line. It's really fascinating to see kind of like their sketches of these characters and learn a little bit more about them. The only thing that was released publicly that was an indication that things were about to shift was this mini comic, which was packaged with those dinosaurs. And within this mini comic, we get to see some of these aspects that they were building towards with Powers of Grayskull. You can see the dinosaurs in there. You can, like, Skeletor is riding on Turbodactyl, which is amazing. You got King Hiss on Tyrannosaurus. You can also see the Eternia playset. That was also a big playset at that time, so of course they were pushing that, and it was gonna have ties to the past and the Powers of Grayskull stuff. And the only thing that we get that's an indicator of where things are going is the last page. You can see that shadowy figure right there. So what happens in the story is, like, He-Man and Skeletor travel back in time, and then this figure at the end shows up to send them back to their time. And He-Man kind of asks, who this is, and there's like the indication that this could be the most, it's the most powerful wizard in the universe, kind of a thing. So that was our little tease for Hero. And this was supposed to be like part one of a 3-part story. The other 2 parts never came out, and as far as we know, were never even written. So this just was like this big giant teaser. Well, that was released, and then we never got anything else after that. It's really fascinating stuff. So I mentioned that some of these figures did actually come out, and one of the things that's really amazing about it is you'll notice that on the packaging, the Powers of Grayskull logo actually made it onto the box. So that is really, really cool, because this was when they were in their transition to the new line. So some of these figures did come out, and you can see that Hero is even riding on Turbodactyl on the box art. So as a kid, I'm curious, did anybody have this guy as a kid? Did you wonder who the heck this guy was on the package? Yeah? Isn't that bizarre? Like, you could tell that they were really gearing up for something, and then it just all ended. It all stopped before they even made it that far, and it's just crazy to me. So of course, there's a couple loose pictures in case you've never seen them, but these are the Dinos. They were releasing that last year there. There's our Turbodactyl, which is very cool. He can like grab onto figures with his feet, and then his mouth opens and closes. And come on, dinosaurs are awesome. Kids always love dinosaurs, so I can totally see why they would decide to shoehorn dinosaurs into He-Man to try to bump sales up and stuff, because even today, I mean, look at the Jurassic World stuff. It's huge. Kids dig dinos. So there's Bionatops. You can see how He-Man can kind of sit on his head there, like in the mini comic. And then that's my favorite, Tyrannosaurus there. He's really awesome. He shoots like the weird little wheel thing out of his stomach. It's crazy. Which, by the way, is another old Mattel toy. They like recycled one of their gimmicks for this. It's pretty cool stuff. I love it. All right, so this is where things get really, really fun. Within the pages of that same Toy Fair catalog where we saw the glimpses of Hero and Eldor, we also got to see that gigantic Brontosaurus whose name was Gigantosaur. This was something else that they were going to pitch for this line. You can see Titus and Megator standing there. We're going to get to them more in a bit, but they are the giants for this series. And if you know how big those are, well, I mean, just look at the kids. Look at the kids with this dinosaur. It's totally bonkers how big they were planning for this dinosaur to be. I mean, look at this. It was going to spring load and stand up on its feet. Look at He-Man sitting inside that thing. It's ridiculous. But it was going to open up with like cannons, and it was going to have a control room inside because he was like part vehicle, part dinosaur. It was insane, insane stuff. Okay, so I want to show you guys this video clip because this is from an amazing panel that was right here at PowerCon several years ago with a lot of the original creators on the brand. And they're talking about Powers of Grayskull here. And I want you guys to listen to how they talk about Gigantosaur. There's some really interesting information. Hopefully the audio is okay on this.
Okay, so when after I did
Look at that stupid thing.
Look at that stupid thing, he said.
After I did the T-Rex, the Bionatops, they gave me Turbosaurus to work from. And this is what the original Turbosaurus was. It was, remember that? It was this white...
How could I forget it? I tried to blank it out.
It worked. Some things work great in breadboard models, but they don't always look good when you try to make them look like something. It had these huge feet, because the only way to get to stand up on end, the feet had to extend past the center of gravity. So it had these, big, I mean, the feet were half the length of the toy. It was really stupid, and it stood up. It was supposed to swallow. I had a figure that it opened up here, and there's this elaborate control room inside, and there was supposed to be a character that hid in the thing, and it had the gun thing on the top. Anyways, so it stood up and did this thing, but everybody decided at some point it didn't work. So the thought was to make it big. So actually I did a couple different versions, worked with an engineer, and this is what the actual, that's my B sheet for the...
Look at the size of He-Man.
Yeah.
It was huge. What happened to my car? I'm like, how are we going to tool this thing?
It had a piano spring that actually, when you press the button, he would shoot up and stand up, tall. So it was very cool. But it came at the end. I think by the time we went to Toy Fair, people weren't even going to the He-Man gallery anymore. No. It came so late. So, unfortunately, I threw away the prototype at some point.
Did you?
Yeah.
Don't lie, it's in your garage.
No, I wish it was, but it was too big to keep around the office.
No, it was huge. That thing was huge.
But anyway, so it ended up being a much better toy, and it actually did make the catalog in I think '87.
It was the death knell.
Right at the end there, Martin said that was the death knell, is what he called that thing. And I don't know if you also heard, but they said that year nobody even showed up to the He-Man gallery at the Dead Toy Fair. How sad is that? Like, you could tell that it was already winding down. But interesting facts on there. You notice he called it Turbosaurus instead of Gigantosaur. So it obviously went through a name change before it appeared in the actual Toy Fair catalog. And that original design, he kind of had like spikes on his back. And you notice how they put the same kind of handle on there like Battle Bones? It had like the finger grips, like that they worked into the spike so that you'd be able to pick it up and carry it. I thought that was really interesting stuff. But he talked about how it had the piano spring in it, so you'd push a button and it would fly up on its hind legs there and everything. But they all laughed at it and called it stupid. Every one of them. They knew it was like a pipe dream to try to make something that big and ridiculous, and it was just too late at that point. Apparently the line was already not doing well. So these are the giants, Titus and Megator, and they've kind of been stuff of legend themselves because these two did get released, but not in the United States. We know they definitely got released in Italy, but probably some other areas of Europe specifically, right there at the end of the line, which makes them very hard to find and very obscure. In fact, most people here probably had no idea these existed until they stumbled upon these pictures on the internet one day. But it's the same kind of thing here. While it doesn't have the Powers of Grayskull logo, you'll notice that Hero is on those boxes. He's on the box art there. That's pretty interesting stuff. So you can see where they were going with that. These dudes were massive. You can see him Titus standing there with King Hiss just to get a size of the scale on these guys. And Megator there, I got him stomping on He-Man. Megator's feature, he had kind of a spring-loaded kick. So like he just legitimately punk kicks the action figures. Like he just field goal kicks them. It's really fun. And he's got like a real chain on his little mace there, his flail. So they're awesome. They're super cool. So those are out there and you can find them, but just, be willing to pay for them if you really want them in your collection. They're rare. They're very cool though. So that brings us back to these images right here, because Hero and Eldor, of course, did not see the light of day. And I got another short clip here from that same PowerCon where Eddie Mosqueda, the guy who sculpted these figures, actually brought the Eldor prototype with him to PowerCon, which was the first time any of us had ever seen this in person. And I thought this was some pretty cool footage.
Anyway, here he is. Eldor. This man,
Otherwise known as Mentor. He doesn't have the book of, what was it called?
Secret.
Book of Secrets? Remember?
It was that shiny
John Hollis.
thing. Yeah.
John Hollis designed it.
Yeah, and I did the holograms that went inside it. Remember
Which we never produced.
Remember those T-Rex holograms?
Yes, for all the dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
So there he is looking at the crowd.
Yeah, which is worth a whole lot of money. I mean,
Marty wants to know.
this is awesome, man. This is better. I remember Pat Dunn did the Vichy.
Yeah.
Wait, remember?
Was it Pat or was it
No, it was
John
Pat.
Hollis?
No, it was Pat.
Okay.
It was Pat did the Vichy because he had a purple cloak, white beard, pearlescent legs.
Yeah, it was like pearlescent, like light purple legs.
I could swear to God, I've been looking all night in my loft for this guy because I could swear I thought I had a hand-painted prototype, but I guess I can't find it. So
They were going to make it bare-legged, and I made a big deal about it. I mean, really, He-Man's mentor,
okay,
bare-legged?
what do we got? Oh,
I don't know if you heard that, but right at the end, he said that they wanted Eldor to be bare-legged, and he thought that was ridiculous. So he sculpted creases in the legs to look like pants. So I thought that was really interesting. But a few of the tidbits that I take from this, they all call him Mentor instead of Eldor mostly. That was apparently his working title before it was changed to Eldor. And Martin there, the guy sitting next to Eddie, the second one there, he's talking about the paint job that they did on it. He says that he had a purple cloak and pearlescent light purple legs. That is not how he looked in that picture I showed you guys. So I don't know if he was misremembering or if there was another paint job on there, but I still thought that was really interesting stuff that was brought up. And that is going to bring us to today, where Super 7 made dreams a reality. Because after all these years, once Super 7, that's right, that does deserve an applause. I think so. When Super 7 first announced that they were going to be doing brand new 5.5 vintage style He-Man figures, this right here is exactly the kind of thing I wanted to see from them. I wanted to see stuff that we were supposed to get and never did. And I am so glad that they delivered with Hero and Eldor. These are brand new sculpts, so they didn't have access to those original prototypes, but they based them on those originals as best they could. The packaging, however, is gorgeous. And we have to give major props to the Power and the Honor Foundation for that, because those are basic. That's the artwork from the original card backs. So this is exactly what the original figures were going to come carded as. That's what the Powers of Grayskull packaging was going to look like. And now we have them, and these collections are complete. And I just think, if after all these years, it felt so good to finally own these like mythical figures that we saw all those years ago in that catalog, and actually be able to add them to our collections. I think they're very cool. I wanted to see if oh, there we go. Yeah, this is like a video with no sound. I made it a little too long, but I wanted to show off because you got that's actually the original artwork that was going to be on the figures in the original lineup there in the 80s. So I just think it's amazing that they were able to produce just these great pieces, like these awesome time capsule pieces, that really makes it feel like the toy line is a little more complete. You know, all these years later, we can add these figures to our shelves, and it kind of makes that original 80s toy line feel complete. They even put the dinosaurs on the cross-sell, even though that's not something they're currently selling, but I thought that was really cool. Ties in with the original toy line there. And I'm just like pointing at it and stuff. I took that out of my review. But in just a second here, I think it cuts to like my favorite shot that I did. Man, shut up, Dan. You're talking too much. We're trying to see. I don't know if I can skip ahead on this. Whatever, we're gonna pass it. But I just think they're amazing. I think it's so cool that we got those in the line finally. And that is gonna bring us to an end to that video. So eventually my plan is to put this together, obviously, in like a more polished, episodic feeling video that will have better, coherent information as I'm putting it out there. But there you go. That's kind of the rough and dirty version of an episode of Toysplosion. This is how my brain works when I'm putting this stuff together. So there you guys go. Thank you. And of course, you can catch all the new episodes at youtube.com/pixeldan. Please hit that subscribe button and leave a comment. All right. Hey, so before we get on to the really good stuff, I thought I would go ahead and open the floor up right now. If anybody's got any questions or anything they want to throw out at me, anything you want to ask me, I believe there's a microphone right there in the middle. We can chat, we can talk. I don't care. Let's talk about it. Anybody? No? Well, this is easy. There we go.
So if you could have complete control over what you wanted to do with your life, where would you take it after this point?
After this point, like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, how do I even answer that? Okay, look, let's be serious then. Obviously, the thing that I want more than anything is to make a nice, happy living doing the thing I love and making sure my family is supported, and that's what I'm striving very hard for all the time, so. Does that count, or is that too,
I'm supporting you on Patreon. Keep it up,
Oh,
man.
man, thank you so much. I appreciate the support, man. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
Hey, Dan, how would you achieve world peace?
Oh, my God.
Yes.
I will buy everybody a beer. I'm gonna start there. Yeah, good? All right.
No, I'm actually really glad that you did the Powers of Grayskull line, because kind of like you, 5 or 6 years ago, I started doing research and I didn't know any of that stuff existed. And it was fascinating, kind of the domino effect I had of researching all these figures and seeing that they were making this dinosaur line and that Titus and Megator actually existed. My question is, do you actually own those figures?
I do own a Titus and a Megator.
How did you get those? Because they're like $3,000 each, and I'm never gonna spend that type of money.
Well, I'm not gonna tell you how much I paid.
That's okay. I'm sure it was.
It was not cheap.
Yeah.
I got very lucky actually, because a big collector that had a bunch of this stuff, reached out to me when he was deciding to get rid of a lot of his stuff. And he knew that I had been after those for a long time, so he wanted to offer them to me first. And I scrambled to find the money to jump on that because I didn't think that opportunity would ever come up again. Those were kind of two figures that I considered grail pieces for my collection. I knew that I wanted them. If there was ever anything I was going to spend that much money on, it was going to be those guys. So I guess I just was in the right place at the right time, and I got lucky. So.
I'm very jealous. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
We aren't jealous, we are envious. There's a difference. Anyway,
hey Brian.
It's late. It's like 4 a.m.
What? Good, close enough.
For me.
Close enough.
Maybe not. If you could have any He-Man toy that wasn't made, like of like the characters in the mini comics that we didn't get, of like cartoon characters that we didn't get, what would it be?
This would have been real easy to answer before Toy Fair because my answer would have been Golden God Skeletor because I feel like those movie figures were like my last big once for classics and now they're coming. So this gets really hard at this point. So you know what? It's funny because and I don't know how you guys are going to react to this, depending on how you feel about the different lines, but I feel like I have so many amazing classics figures, and I've really enjoyed the idea of expanding the vintage line at this point, and I loved Hero and Eldor, so really I feel like I would want more of those kind of characters in the vintage style at this point, rather than continuing classics.
Yeah.
Does anybody agree with me? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Same.
We got some people that agree with me. Because I would love to see them, doing characters that we haven't had before would be great, and some of those characters we got in classics would be awesome to see make the transition to the vintage style. I always liked Lord Mask. I thought he was a very cool looking character and would look neat. I would also love to be able to get like a camo Khan or some of these super rare things. I think that would be a lot of fun too. So I don't know. That's where my brain works these days with
That's
that.
cool. And if you have any announcements, I asked you this last year. And I
do.
was totally disappointed.
I have a huge announcement that I am going to tell you, but there's like 3 more people behind you, so I want to answer the questions first.
Fine, I'll go back to my seat and wait.
All right, you can wait.
Another year.
Not another year. It's coming, I promise. Oh my gosh. All right, yes.
He got me wondering, can you put the origins into the old vehicles? I should have asked that.
They totally, yes. Because
yeah.
they're like the same size and scale, and actually their articulation's a little bit better, so they fit pretty well with that
But
stuff.
it sounds like they're doing vehicles.
Yeah, well, they announced the Sky Sled today,
Yeah,
so we know they're at least doing that vehicle.
But those will be the same scale as the
vintage
okay.
line.
So just kind of retooling.
They're like,
okay.
Yeah, they're redoing the vintage line, but
Yeah.
with more articulation.
Okay.
Is essentially what it is.
Okay. My question is one of those, is it everybody or is it just me? Got the Hero and Eldor, the box, you showed a picture of it. The staff is supposed to snap shut at the top.
Yeah.
Not mine.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. On
It
mine
doesn't do
either.
it.
It kind of flops open on the new ones. So I don't know. I don't know if that's just the thing where they didn't really recreate that the way it was supposed to be. Because I thought it was supposed to have like a push button or something that made it open up, and it definitely doesn't do that.
So that's everybody's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's weird because they use the exact artwork for the packages that were going to be on the vintage line. So the instructions for the action features don't actually really match what's going on with these new figures.
I wondered about that.
Yeah, it's real strange.
I'll just ask Dan it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Cool. What? Are you mad that more people are lining up?
Too short for this mic stand.
Oh, okay.
I'm little. I actually have a question for you as a YouTuber, like as a content creator.
Oh, okay.
What advice do you have for people who want to get into content creation?
I get this question a lot. Okay, the best advice I can give for anybody who wants to be a content creator: be passionate about what you're talking about. Because if you don't care about what you're talking about, people will see right through that, and you will not build an audience. So always care, always make sure whatever you decide that you want to do on YouTube, whatever it is, cooking or toys or video games or any of that stuff, make sure you, at least at the start and when you're really finding yourself, make it so that it's easy for you to talk about because you like it so much, because that's what people care about when they're watching stuff on YouTube. They want to relate to the person that they're watching. You know, they want to feel like that's somebody that they could be friends with, or that they, you know, that shares their passions and everything. That's what YouTube is supposed to be all about, right? Like, you've got your mainstream stuff that hits TV networks and stuff, and Netflix and stuff like that, but YouTube is supposed to be about us. Real people, a community. So be passionate about what you're talking about and be consistent. Be consistent. Always have something new for people to watch, because the second you stop having something new is the second they flip to somebody else's channel and start watching them.
Okay.
So those are the best things I can tell you.
Cool, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Hey, Johnny Belson, thanks for the beer.
You're welcome.
Whoa, hey, whoa.
I have not lost my voice. Yeah. All right, well, hey, Pixel Dan.
Hey, Johnny, I already said what's up.
I'll tell you what.
What is happening right now?
That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you, Johnny. All right.
Hey, Dan, I have a follow-up question about your Titus and Megator and the collector that sold them to you. Was that me?
That was you.
I thought so. You guys
That's him. That's the guy, everybody.
You guys want to know how much you paid?
I love them. They made slides in a panel.
I know they went to a good home. Good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. I think we've wrapped our questions, and we're probably getting towards the end here. I don't know. What do you think? Should I talk about anything else? Yeah? Val, what do you think? Are you sleeping? That sounds about right. I was just wondering if there's anything else we should talk about. Okay. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming. Oh! Guys, I have kind of a big announcement that I've been waiting to make for a very long time. I'm pregnant. No, I'm just kidding. You guys might have seen all these kinds of pictures popping up on my social media over the last year and a half. I've been doing lots of teasing of things that I've been working on. I've been traveling, not only in this country, but outside of this country with my good friend Val Staples over here, documenting lots of things, as you can see in these pictures. And I haven't been allowed to say what I've been doing, but I have been allowed to post these teasers. And it's been awesome because you guys have been flipping out about it. And everybody's been asking me what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
Yeah. You guys ready to find out what I'm doing? Yeah. You ready to know why I'm taking pictures of Mint in Box Eternia playsets? You want to know why I'm posing like a playa in front of She-Ra toys? That's a lot of She-Ras, right? So it's me. Do you guys know what that means? Okay, so here's the deal. I have a very specific announcement I have to read. I have to read this verbatim. Are you ready? You have loved the books from Dark Horse, and I know you want more. Well, you're in luck. Because in the summer of 2020, that's not that far away, next summer, Dark Horse has a new book coming your way. The Toys of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, featuring She-Ra. There's a little bit more, so I want to read this. There's a little bonus thing too. As part of a limited edition set, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Character Guide and World Compendium Supplemental Edition is a special additional content that will be available with the toy guide exclusively through the PowerCon online store. Images and release details will be coming very, very soon from Dark Horse. New books, guys. If you've ever wanted a He-Man toy guide, it's finally coming. I wish I could say a lot more about this, but I can't show you pictures or anything yet. I tried real hard. To be able to show you pictures. But you have no idea how much of a load off this is to finally be able to talk about this. I've been wanting to scream about this for so long. And I'm in front of a microphone right now, so I'm gonna talk a little bit more until Val comes up here and tackles me and tells me I'm not allowed to say anything else. I have been pushing to write this book for years. As soon as the Dark Horse books first started coming out with Master Stuff, I immediately started bugging Val and people saying, I want to write the toy book. And the opportunity finally came up, and I was given the opportunity to be the guy that puts together this toy book. And guys, I can't tell you how much this means to me, because this means that my name is now officially on the Masters of the Universe brand. And I actually want to cry. You guys are awesome. Look, I couldn't do any of this without you guys, and I also do want to say that there's been an amazing team that has worked on this book, so it's not just me, and I'm going to make sure that everybody that helped gets proper shout-outs once I can really get online and start talking about this more. But I couldn't have done this, especially without Val, because Val has done so much work for this, and he gave me the opportunity to begin with. We've had some other people come in and help me with some of the writing and some of the pictures in some places, because there's so much. Guys, the classics line is huge. Oh my God, you have no idea how hard it was. But this book is gonna have everything, vintage through classics, everything. So it's gonna be amazing. And there's some people in this room probably that helped out. Joe is right over here, Motu Joe. I took a bunch of pictures of his stuff and he helped. Brent Storano, are you in here, Brent? Brent helped out quite a bit, so lots of people. Val's coming up here. He's going to yell at me right now and stop talking. Oh, that's right. Daniel Quintero, I know you're here. He did so much editing and making the pictures look pretty. There he is, right back there. Because he made all my pictures look pretty. Dude, that dude worked his butt off on this. So give him props. I mean, I have a long list of people that I'm going to thank, and I'm going to do it all proper. But guys, this is going to happen, and it's amazing, and I cannot wait until this is in everybody's hands. Thank you guys so much, and you're going to buy it, right? Yes! Yes! And this is officially the best PowerCon I've ever come to, because this is amazing. This is amazing. Oh, there you go. Oh! Val doesn't know this, but I'm going to show you guys some things that didn't make the book. Here's this is my original submission for Castle Grayskull Man. Castle Grayskull Man is a nerd, and Daniel Benedict smells like poop. It didn't get in the book. I don't know why. It's all true. Daniel's right there. What's up, Daniel? Anyway, that was just stuff I did for fun, but there's me as a kid. And this is why this matters so much to me, right there. I know it's crazy to look at that kid and know that he was gonna grow up and write a book about those toys that he's playing with in the dirt, and it's pretty amazing stuff. So the question that I got about where do I see myself going from here, man, it's pretty great that I'm getting to contribute in this way to a property that I love and care about so much. So thank you guys very much for everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I hope you all have a great rest of your PowerCon. Thank you so much for coming.